Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Speaking Scalpel today. I am Dr. Rohit Shrivastava. I am currently working as a senior resident here in NSCB Medical College, Jabalpur. It's my pleasure to introduce our inspiration and our moderator for today. That is Dr. Vikesh Agrawal, sir, who is who is HOD of Department of Pediatric Surgery here at NSCB Medical College, Jabalpur, and also a secretary of Indian Academy of Pediatric Surgery. And As I already said, he is an inspiration to all of us. As our moderator, Dr. Vikesh sir will introduce our guest and will guide the discussion for today. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Rohit, for your kind introduction. We are very much honored here and delighted to have Professor Giulio Mayol with us. Actually, he doesn't need any introduction because he's one of the pioneer of artificial intelligence and generative AI in the field of surgery as well as academic surgery. He is currently a full professor of surgery at University of Madrid, as well as he's editor of Journal Surgery and secretary of British Journal of Surgery Academy as well. And he has pioneered a lot of chatbots, including one very popular one, which if you do Google search, it is MedEd. So something which is like very prominent or like very popular among students and trainees. So I welcome Professor, and we look forward to a very interesting and, as you said, provocative talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Raul. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here tonight, to speak and have a conversation about AI and the future of AI in academic surgery. I'm going to share my presentation with you. Let's see if it works. No, I chose the wrong. Now, here it is. Let's see if it works. Okay. So again, first of all, thank you very much for having me today. It's an immense privilege and honor to be here with you to have this conversation, because this is so new, it's changing so rapidly that it's difficult to have any idea about what is going to happen in the near future. Things move very quickly. And I think that we cannot approach this disruptive technology just from an individual standpoint or an individual perspective. We have to be ready to collaborate in order to get the most out of this. And I want to share some ideas with you. So I will speak briefly about the definition of AI and the history of this technology, the technology itself, how it works. Then I would like to share with you what I think is key in terms of purpose. The use technology are just tools. We need to have purpose in order to find the right use cases that generate better value for our patients and also for ourselves. I will discuss briefly the ethical and legal challenges of implementing generative AI solutions, and then my call to action, how to get ready. Let's start with this question. This was recently published in the International Journal of Surgery. Will generative AI, ChatGPT or GPT-4 or whatever technology related to this is, will it topple the profession of surgeons? And then what I usually do is I go back to science fiction and movies. And remember, there were no humans, no human doctors, no human surgeons in Star Wars. The whole ecosystem of Star Wars is not populated by human surgeons, but by embodied AI surgeons. So the answer to that question is yes, AI is going to replace us. So the best thing we can do is sit back and relax. This is just a joke because I'm not quite sure whether that would happen in our lifetime. But let's think how this revolution started. It was in the mid 50s, well, early 50s of the 20th century, when Alan Turing, a mathematician, very interesting thinker, published this manuscript, this paper in Mind. The title of the manuscript was Computing Machinery and Intelligence. And for the first time, we meaning our species, a human being, asked whether machines can think. And he concluded that this should begin with the definition of the meaning of the terms machine and think. He argued that machines can think. He reflected on how this idea of machines thinking could be tested, and he proposed the Turing test. And basically, the definition is AI is the ability of machines to simulate. And I want to highlight this verb, to simulate cognitive processes that are human right now, like planning, creating things, or learning. So it was in the mid, by the mid 50s in the 20th century, when another group coined the term artificial intelligence. This group was led by John McCarthy from MIT, and I want to draw your attention to this statement with a very deep meaning. This group specifically stated that these Dartmouth summer research projects would be an attempt to find how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans. This was 1955. And most importantly, and improve themselves. Why on earth our species is interested in creating something that basically does what we do, if it is not to replace us to some extent? So this is a dream that is deeply embedded in our minds, in our communities. We need to find something that does exactly the same thing that we do, but better. But AI was not that successful because there were many different silos: machine learning, natural language processing, artificial neural networks, computer vision, robotics, this and that. And all these silos were working not in connection, but independently. And it was very difficult to advance artificial intelligence. In fact, there were two winters of artificial intelligence, 1973, 1988. It seemed that AI was not going to fly until the 21st century, and more specifically, when technology was advanced with the use of deep learning. So machines can learn without human intervention. In order to do that, we need these neural networks, and at the same time, massive amounts of data, big data. And the internet was key to gather data that could be used to train the neural networks. The third element was processing power. Huge servers that can handle big data plus neural networks to first to help them learn and then producing outputs. In fact, Hopeful and Hinton received the Nobel Prize in Physics, or were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics this year, because of the discoveries and inventions that enable machine learning with artificial neural networks. How does generative AI work? Very simple. We have this black box, like our skulls, with our brain inside, many different neural networks that are pre-trained with data. So our neural networks, or these neural networks, like ours, are pre-trained with experiences with data in this case, so they can identify specific patterns, and then they can predict what the next thing is going to be. Very basically, what our brain does. So the quality or the kind of outputs that we get are heavily dependent on the pre-trained data. Remember, generative pre-trained transformer, GPT, is just an example of a pre-trained neural network. Transformer is just the architecture. Then these neural networks get activated by inputs, by prompts, by questions. And the output is also dependent not only on the quality and the amount of data, but also on the questions. Remember this movie? Do you remember this movie? This is how neural networks are trained. Input. These machines need input. And the quality of the input is very relevant. Because basically, AI, and more specifically, generative AI, is mathematics. Large language models combine linear algebra plus statistics. So we never get a 100% accurate response. It's always a statistical approximation. Let's discuss the purpose when we apply generative AI in surgery. First of all, we need to maximize value. We speak about value-based surgery, but we never define what value-based surgery is. Basically, from my perspective, better value means more benefit with less harm times proms and prems. And proms and prems is not only patient-reported outcomes and patient-reported experience, but people-reported outcomes and people-reported experience, because you cannot disengage patients from professionals. You cannot get a better experience if surgeons are burnt out. And this benefit in this perception by patients and professionals, this numerator is divided by cost. And money is not the most important cost. The most important cost is time. First of all, the amount of time we waste doing things that are absolutely useless, in the same manner that we consume energy to do something that is irrelevant or has no benefit offered to the patient. So time is key here. We lose time every day, every second of our lives. So we need a technology that generates time. And that's what generative AI can do. But there is a thing that cannot be generated by AI, and that's trust. We need to devote more time to our patients to have meaningful interactions. Trust is a social capital that we must generate, and we need time to do that. So we need to save time by avoiding doing things that are useless or with very little added value, and we must interact with our patients to generate trust. After defining what the purpose is for the use of AI in surgery, let's discuss some use cases. In academic surgery, we do research and innovation, education and training, clinical practice and management. Generative AI can be used for each of these tasks. First of all, I recommend you to read this leading article published in BGS Open by Jansen and colleagues on the use of ChatGPT and other LLMs in surgical science. It can be used for almost anything. In fact, the UNESCO was so worried that it issued this white paper in 2023, and they stated that ChatGPT and large language models in general can be used for research design. It can generate ideas for research questions or projects. It can also suggest data sources for data collection, data analysis, and to write these manuscripts, improving the writing quality, reformat citations and references, or translate writing. So you don't have to be perfect in terms of writing in English. That's a barrier for many non-native English speakers because it would improve the writing. This is an example of GPT-4 generated scientific question for surgeons for research. The question that I used was, can you generate a scientific question on the impact of mitochondrial dysfunctions on anastomotic healing? And you can see Julius here. This is a commercial application, but basically it's GPT-4 running behind. It analyzes my question, then it reviews the literature, the available literature, and comes up with a deep scientific question. So there is no excuse now. If you ask the right question to the machine, you would get a good hypothesis. And the question is, how does mitochondrial dysfunction in macrophages and fibroblasts affect the production of growth factors and extracellular matrix components crucial for anastomotic healing? And then I can ask Julius to write a project plan. We can also generate synthetic data. The definition of synthetic data is that data that has been generated using a purpose-built mathematical model or algorithm with the aim of solving data science tasks. So basically, generative adversarial networks are used to generate synthetic data. It can be very synthetic or less synthetic, depending on how you ask the model to generate it. It can be used to produce digital twins. So these are defined as virtual replicas of physical systems or processes that can be used to stimulate and predict their behavior in real time. They can reinforce data sets, trying to compensate for biases in quality. It decreases the risk of data leaks. Data privacy issues are fewer with this solution, and I'm going to show you how it works later. But first, let's see how Gemini, for example, can be used also for education. You can have a direct interaction. This is a video dialogue sample. It starts with, "Hello, I am a medical student analyzing this surgical procedure video for my studies. Which surgical procedure is shown in this video?" And as you can see, there's this conversation between the large language model and the student in order to first acquire knowledge, then become better at analyzing the different problems and issues that can arise from interpreting these complex videos. Educational content can also be generated with new solutions. This is an example of using BGS Academy website to produce the following video. Let's see if it works. BISLA is the name
Welcome
of the
to BJS
application.
Academy, where the pursuit of surgical excellence never ceases. As a dedicated online educational resource, BJS Academy stands at the forefront of supporting surgeons in their professional journey, offering a wealth of knowledge and collaboration opportunities.
Another example, this is in Spanish. How can I teach many people how to use ChatGPT with just a single video with synesthesia? And it speaks with a funny Spanish accent because it's Mexican accent. It's not Spanish from Spain, but basically it can be understood by Latin American people and people in the United States that speak Spanish or in Spain.
Voy a compartir un tutorial sobre cómo utilizar ChatGPT paso a
This
paso.
person, this avatar,
elaborado por
does not
Julio Mayor.
exist.
Os daré información básica para que os podáis iniciar en el uso de la tecnología.
I generated the content and
Accede a
then
ChatGPT.
edit
Para
the
ello,
video
dirígete a la página web de OpenAI y crea una
to be
cuenta o
accurate
inicia sesión
and
si ya tienes
precise.
una. Las cuentas gratuitas dan un acceso limitado a los recursos de la plataforma. A continuación, elige la versión.
But it's also possible to generate a video in over 150 languages just by dropping a manuscript. This is a BGS open manuscript. See and take a look. This is how it works.
Welcome to our video on Global Guidelines for Emergency General Surgery. This initiative aims to create evidence-based recommendations applicable across diverse healthcare settings, especially focusing on low and middle-income countries. The guidelines were developed through a systematic review and Delphi prioritization process. This involved analyzing 38 guidelines and 1396 recommendations to ensure relevance across all resource settings, emphasizing essential and desirable measures. An international guideline development group, including clinicians from various global organizations, was formed. They were responsible for steering the study and synthesizing recommendations, ensuring
This is
a
a
comprehensive
standard
approach to
video
the guideline
behind it
development.
as a background, but you can upload
The Delphi process involved
more
4
specific
rounds, including
video
online
to
voting, face-to-face
better
discussions. This
the outcome.
rigorous method ensured that the final guidelines welcome.
When it comes to the application of generative AI in clinical practice, although it is not approved because it would be a medical device, it's not approved yet. I published this in JAWS recently. Generative AI could be used for image synthesis, data augmentation, patient-specific simulation, automated report generation, predictive analysis, and virtual surgical assistance. Basically, it can be used for anything. It's like a mirror that we could take advantage of. Of course, it can make mistakes, and it's not perfect. As we described in this paper published in Health and Technology, when they are challenged with specific cases, and they must return a good recommendation based on guidelines. GPT-4 is the one that approaches or gets the best accuracy. It's up to 80%. Some of them, like Bing Chat or Google Bard, are not so good, or Claude 2. However, this changes like every 3 months. So one must act quickly because large language models are improving at a very significant pace almost every 2 weeks. This is so important then that this recently published JAMA Network Open paper describes the results of a randomized clinical trial to test whether experts get better at clinical reasoning when they use large language models. The authors found that large language models are better than experts at clinical reasoning, and that experts don't get better, don't improve when they have this aid, when they have GPT-4 helping them out. So basically, what they have shown is that large language models are better than experts on diagnostic reasoning. There are examples of how neural networks and generative AI could be used for data analysis and image analysis in head and neck surgery. Of course, this can also be applied to robotic surgery. It is going to be very easy to use different neural networks for to identify patient characteristics, intraoperative video, instrument kinematics, and robotic sensors to deliver autonomous surgery. Surgeons who have given Intuitive the data for free are helping them achieving autonomous surgery in a not very distant future. In fact, this neural networks could be used for event anticipation in laparoscopic and robotic surgery. This is just an example of how generative AI could help us navigate the surgical field for robotic procedures. And this is another example of the combination of convolutional neural networks and collaborative robotics to do things that now are reserved for humans.
Human child is able to reliably grasp objects after 1 year and takes around 4 years to acquire more sophisticated precision grasp. However, networked robots can instantaneously share their experience with one another. So if we dedicate 14 separate robots to the job of learning grasping in parallel, we can acquire the necessary experience much faster. Google research scientists are working on implementing this concept. While initially the grasps are executed at random and succeed only rarely, each day their latest experiences are used to train a deep convolutional neural network, CNN, to learn to predict the outcome of a grasp, given a camera image and a potential motor command. This CNN is then deployed on the robots the following.
We're getting to the end of my presentation, and I would like to discuss the ethical and legal challenges. The first challenge is, of course, privacy and data protection. But from a technological standpoint, we need to find the right use of AI to avoid polarization. These technologies can polarize our practice and our societies due to this Matthew effect. Those who have a lot get more, and those who have less get less. We need to change this. Otherwise, we will leave many people behind. That was the rationale and the aim behind this project, led by Divya Kewaramani and Mayur Narayan. This big team in the United States and outside of the United States trying to respond to these three questions. There are 5 billion people who lack access to safe, affordable surgical anesthesia care. We need to address critical inequities. And in order to do that, we would like to leverage AI to find solutions for people who don't have access to safe surgery or who don't have access to knowledge to the extent that we have in high-income countries. That's why I have created all these bots, these chatbots, with this MetaBot surgery. And what I want is to share this with surgeons, trainees, and students from all over the world, so they don't have this barrier to access knowledge and to have this assisted knowledge and then augmented knowledge that could help them develop their profession further. However, including AI in our teams is going to be a huge challenge. And this is another example of how our knowledge can be embedded in a solution like Notebook LM and generate a podcast that addresses human AI interactions within hybrid teams.
Because today we are going deep on human robot teams.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
You know, our listeners, you wanted to know more about this whole area and you sent in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we got research articles, even some of your personal notes.
Yeah, a lot to cover. So
it's a really fascinating mix, really.
Yeah, it is.
We have lab experiments, surveys, some opinion pieces on the future of these teams.
Right. And looking at all of it,
Yeah.
a few big themes really jump out at us.
Mhm.
So, like, first, how do these human robot teams actually form?
Right.
And how do they actually work? Especially these things called subgroups,
Oh, yeah.
which, to be honest, kind of sound like cliques.
This is just an example that, and almost reaching the end of my presentation. This is the algorithm proposed by UNESCO for the ethical use of AI or generative AI. So there are three important questions we need to answer before using ChatGPT for academic surgery. First of all, does it matter if the output is true? The second, do you have the expertise to verify that the output is accurate? And the third question is, are you able and willing to take full responsibility, legal, moral, or otherwise, for missed inaccuracies? If we say yes to the three of them, then it's possible to use ChatGPT, but we have to make sure that the output is verified for accuracy and common sense. How to get ready for this revolution? We quickly, the basic understanding of what Gen AI is must be acquired. Then we need to define the strategy and what for. Once we have defined the purpose, we can identify the use cases for better value for people, not just patients, but also healthcare professionals. After that, we need to invest in cultural change because this is going to be painful. There are many things that will change. In order to do that, we need to focus on education, reskilling, and upskilling. And last but not least, we must be prepared for the ethical and legal issues that we are going to face in the near future. So now the main ideas, the key ideas I want to highlight is that generative AI is like a mirror. Better questions equals better outcomes. AI is pure statistics. The three important elements for purpose are time, trust, and value. We need to define the use cases that generate better value for people. We have to invest in reskilling and upskilling, especially for cognitive skills. Technical skills, not so much of a problem. Then let's think about equity and the ethical use of the technology. Thank you very much. Resistance is futile, and when something is unavoidable, we need to collaborate to make it better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mayal. I think there are not many questions in the chat box, but I do have many questions to you. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for a very compact talk introducing the spectrum of AI, especially generative AI. And I would like to compliment you with a word which I have recently, Googled, and like I'm working a little bit learning on AI. So that is surgeoneering. So you are a surgeon as well as engineer. So I would call you a surgeoneer.
So, Junior, that's the new word.
Yes, right. So this is one
Thank you.
compliment to you, sir.
Thank you.
Secondly, as you said in one of your slide, a worry or like just introduction slide that is AI going to replace the surgeon. So I would like to put up little differently. So it is going to like re hyphen place. So he is going to replace the surgeon in a better position, in a stronger position, in a more efficient position. This is what my perception about AI is.
Yeah, I use the word replace because replace doesn't mean it's going to eliminate us.
Exactly.
We need a different position and we need to invent that new position.
Absolutely correct. So that's what I am endorsing, that is going to replace the surgeon in a better position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
totally agree with your view.
now I noticed in your slides that you use like I am a little bit into AI, so I am asking this final question to you that when you talked about Julius and Synthesia.
Yes.
So could you tell us more about it? How much does that subscription cost? And do you have university access or a personal access? And
Yeah,
suppose we want to have it, then what is the way out?
it's a bit, there is a freemium model. So you can get a free account and use both of them for free. Only if you want to upgrade your account with more avatars and including your logo and removing the Synthesia logo, for example, then you need to pay like 25 euros per month. Julius, the same, you can get a free account. And then if you want to upgrade the features, then you have to pay again like 25 euros. But basically, the two of them can be used for free. So people can start experimenting with them. And then once you identify a, a good use case, one can pay just for 1 month, generate many videos, and then stop. Probably there's a way to do this in a collaborative manner. So instead of one person paying the subscription, get in a group, a coordinated group, to pay a very small amount so they have access at a lower price. And it's key. So not
Prompt
only the
yeah.
not only the pre-trained data, but also prompt engineering. The two ways to improve a prompt is first prompt engineering, second retrieval augmented generation. So we provide some additional context, and the outputs are highly improved.
Someone is suggesting that we should also teach and update our lawmakers because they
Yes,
have.
I agree with that. The problem, you know, that in Europe, the European Union has issued this EU AI Act. The problem is that when they wrote this law, generative AI was not in place yet. So they have ruled on something that is old right now. It's very difficult for lawmakers. It's very difficult for lawyers and judges and policymakers to find solutions to problems they don't know or understand.
One
So
flaw,
law always lags behind.
correct, sir. One more flaw I find with, like Professor Sharma also pointed out, the language of the chat GPT is very monotonous and very stereotyped. So personal touch in the manuscript and the personal thought process lags behind. So it is a good to create a template, but one should undergo a proper revision of the manuscript and use his own language and own interpretation to correct the output.
What I would suggest for your association is to have a position statement on the use of AI, so you can share what your views are to those who are members of your society. That will change, of course, because the technology will change. But at least you show people that you have given some thought to the use of the technology and that you propose some solutions to problems that right now people face.
You spoke my heart, sir. In February, we are conducting a brainstorming session. It's already announced. So it's intelligence augmentation in pediatric surgery. That is our short form of our association, IAPS. So
Excellent
that's
idea. So congratulations.
We will definitely involve you in that session. So it's going to be 2 or 3 hour session, and a lot of engineers, IITians, and like young students, we are involving in that session, sir. It's just a brainstorming session.
That's excellent, because
Thank
we need to collaborate and come up with new solutions, new ideas. So basically, we need more brain power, human brain power.
Sir, one more problem which I foresee in using ChatGPT in writing manuscripts is all those people like me who are not English is not their native language. We have learnt by our own efforts. And if we start depending on AI or ChatGPT to write our manuscripts, we will lose whatever we have developed by ourselves. So I don't want to depend on that, because if I, at my age, if I lose my own writing way of writing, then I'll be a big loser.
Yes, it's going to be a challenge, but probably in our lifetime, we are not going to lose our second language. But this is a hypothesis. Language won't be much of a problem in the future. The way to communicate will be language in a different form, in a different. Probably signs will change. Probably words will change, because everything is going to be merged and combined within neural networks. But that's the future.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is already.
science.
Sanjay, over to you.
Yes.
Hi.
So, yes, I think we have overshot our time, which was already 30 to 40 minutes. But as Sharma sir said, that it was so much thought-provoking that we have to learn AI and we have to use it so that we are not left behind in this revolution.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank you again for this excellent talk, and Vikesh sir for moderating this session with such enthusiasm. So thank you everyone once again, and we'll see you in next session of this speaking scalpel. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Huge privilege.
Thank you so much.